Again, possible test question. How many possible outcomes if you have 2 kids and order matters? There are 8, and we listed them all here. You will need to know how to do that.
But I don't understand, like, the thing I don't understand, right, is how when it says, list of possible outcomes for a family with 3 children, how did you know how many to, like, how to do this?
Yeah. We made the tree diagram. Boy, and then a boy or girl, and then from each child, a boy or a girl, a boy or a girl. So we went boy, 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 girl. Boy, girl, boy, boy, girl, girl. And we just followed. Boy, boy, girl, boy, girl?
So
Wrong
like,
one. Sorry, thank you.
4 children, you'd add
another
section.
Tree, yeah. So girl, boy, boy, girl, girl. And then girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, girl. And that's where we got this list from.
It's always going to have to be like 2, right?
Yes.
It's always going to go boy, girl.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Got it? Okay. The baseball team has 11 team members that play infield position. 8 players that play outfield positions, and 4 that play both. What piece do I write down first? What piece do I do first? Right in the middle. Matt, I'm going to have you bring that up to me just so we don't have, no, bring it up just so we don't have problems with it today. All right. So, taking a look, do you guys see where the 4 is coming from? Thank you. Yes or no? That is the overlap. All right, how many people total play infield?
7.
How many, 11 team members that play, how many play infield? 11. So do I put 11 here?
Minus 4.
11 minus 4. Mendoza, you're going to hand that over as well. No. Just hand it over.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, and what's 11 minus 4?
7.
And where does the 7 go? All right. Outfield. How many people play outfield total? 8. So we do 8 minus 4 is 4. Does that make sense? How many people are there total? How many? 22. So we add up with 7 plus 4 plus 4.
11.
15? 15. So we take away 15 from the 22. What does that give me? What's 22 take away 15?
7.
And then we say, okay, what's the question? How many baseball players only play the infield position? 7. Is that the 7 from out here? No, it's the 7 from here. Makes sense? Yes or no?
So what's that outside?
How did we find the outside number? Can anybody answer that? How we found this number out here? Yes.
You have to add up all the numbers in both, so like 74 is 4, so it's the infielders, the outfielders, and both, and then you subtract it by the total, which is 22. So those are the people who didn't play either of those positions.
Do you hear that? So you add and then subtract from the total. All right, next one. In a sample of 95 business professionals, 40 have flown in the past year for business and 60 have driven. 25 have both flown and driven for the business. So what do I do first?
Put 25 in the middle.
25 in the middle. And I can tell a handful of you guys aren't even paying attention. You guys are going to struggle, so please don't do that to yourself. All right. If 40 people have flown, do I put the 40 here?
No.
No, I do 40 take away.
25.
And that gives me what?
15.
15? All right, and how many people have driven?
35.
60, so we do 60 take away 25. And what did you say it is? 35? All right, I need you guys to do 15 plus 25 plus 35. Do that now. 15 plus 25 plus 35. 75, and we take 75 away from 95, and what does that give me? All right, and you guys do need your calculators out. How many have neither flown nor driven for the business? 20.
Getting a calc.
All right, makes sense? Okay, before I go any further, if this was a test question and you were doing it right now on your own, could you replicate what we just did? No?
Wait, where'd you get the 20
Yes.
from? You added all them all up.
And then subtracted from 95. All right, hey, let's listen. What is this name of two events C and D that where the probability of event C happening does not affect the probability of event D happening? Independent? All right, write that down. Independent. Give an example of two events that describe number 6 above. Who can give me an example of two events that are independent? Yes. Flipping a coin. If you flip a head and then you go to flip again, does that head affect your second flip?
No.
All right, anyone else?
Spinning a dice.
Say it again. Drawing the card with what? Putting it back in. Replacement. Is the replacement important?
Yeah.
Yes, she said drawing a card, replacing it, and then taking out a second. If you do not replace it, is it still independent? No, because you have a less card in the overall deck. All right, so you guys said flipping a coin. Is that what somebody said?
Spinning a dice.
Rolling a dice, throwing in, flipping a coin, taking out a card. Does that make sense? How about this up here, the children, the boy, girl? Are these independent? If you had a boy first, does that have any effect on your second child?
No.
No.
Wait,
All right.
Well, sometimes
If you're a twin, you're supposed to be identical.
No, I'm not asking about twins. Okay. Okay. Give an example. Okay, so I'm not going to write that down. I've given you examples. You guys have given me examples. I'm moving on. Stop the talking. What is the name for two events, J and K, that cannot happen at the same time? Mutually exclusive.
What is number 6 say?
Independent. All right. Give an example of two events that describe number 8. Two events, yes.
Senior and a junior.
Being a senior and a junior. You're either a senior or you're a junior. Even if you've been here 4 years and you don't have the credits to be a senior, then you're a junior. All right? You're a junior or a senior depending on your credits. Yes.
Well, technically.
No, we're not going to go with the technicals. All right. Shh. You can be a fourth-year junior. Yes.
Being a car. Okay, being a car and a truck.
Okay, being a car or a truck, you're one or the other, it's not both. And don't give me the, oh, what if, you know. All right.
truck.
I mean,
Nope.
And the
for arguing
SUV.
being a car.
Nope.
Why do we have 25 people that flow or come in drift?
There is two-seater
What?
trucks. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I see what you're saying. You're talking about this one up here?
Yeah.
All right.
You do both.
Okay, he said, you brought up a good thought here. He said, why is there overlap here then if you can't be a car and a truck or a car and a plane? Yes.
So if a car takes diesel gas, isn't it?
Okay, again, guys, listening. Guys, you're wasting your review time. Do you have a question or you're going to solve the question that was asked?
I could answer it.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're wondering why it's not mutually exclusive, like flying or driving, it's because they don't happen exactly at the same time. So you can do both. You can drive to the airport and then get flown out and then drive to wherever you're going from that airport.
So you can drive to a car dealership and buy a truck.
Yes. But you can't drive to the dealership and buy a car truck. That's what we're saying. We're not about cat dogs.
Okay, let's just change the topic.
All right. We're moving on.
I mean, you listen.
Shh. We are moving on. No, we're moving on.
Covered over the bed of the truck.
You're wasting your time for the review. All right, moving on. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here because we've been doing quite a few of these. Probability, it's red. Red is how many red?
14.
Out of
40,
40, reduce. Green, how many greens?
12,
Out of 40, reduce. Blue or white, what do we do with the word or? Add and subtract overlap. Is there overlap here? No. So how many blues are there?
14.
14. Where's the blues?
There's only 8 blues. Well, 8 blues.
8 blues and how many whites?
6.
You add them and divide by 40 and reduce. Not red. There's more than one way to think about this. Anybody tell me how you would do not red? Yes.
I did 40 minus, however many, I did 40 minus 14.
Good. He said 40 minus the 14 red and whatever that total is over 40. Yes. Now I had another kid said, well, I just added all the non-reds. I added the blue, the white, and the green. Would that work as well? Yes. Either way. Okay. Questions there before I move on to the chart that we did yesterday.
What does or mean again?
Or means to add and subtract the overlap.
So you
In this case, there is no overlap. Hey, Adam, please don't do that again. All right.
so you would subtract the overlap?
And there's no overlap here because it's either
It'd be 0.
blue or white. Yeah, minus there's no blue-white marbles in the bag. At least they did not say there were. Okay, moving on. I'm going to do a few more here because I want to make sure we fully understand this. We did these two yesterday. I'm going to give you a few more test sample questions. Before I do, let's take a look. What's the probability of rolling a sum of 6 or 8? When you count them, you do not count the diagonals across this way. These are not counted. Those are the original numbers.
Can you zoom in, please?
These are the 6s, and these are the 8s. How many altogether, or how many 6s do I have? 5 out of 36. How many 8s do I have? 5 out of 36. And do they overlap? Minus 0. 10 out of 36, and you reduce. We did that yesterday. Listening, please. Don't forget, where are we getting the 36 from? You either count all these orange numbers or you multiply 6 times 6. All right. What's the probability that one of the dice is a 4 given the sum of the two dice is 9? All right. What do we look at? The first part or the second part for the denominator? Given it's a 9. How many 9s do we have? That's where the 4 is coming from. Adam, go ahead and bring that up. Bring it up. No. You're bringing it up just like I did with the other two gentlemen. You're bringing it up. Or you can put it in your bag and then you bring your bag up. You decide. Okay, then you just bring your bag and I'll hold your bag up. All right. Of those 4 9s, how many of them have a 4? Do you agree it's here, the 5 4 and the 4 5? Yes or no? All right. 2 out of 4, we reduce to 1/2. Before I go any further, any questions on those two? Okay, I do want to do 4 more samples of what the test questions are going to look like for this problem. Are you ready? Okay, probability, and it's up to you if you want to write these down. You do not have to. You can watch them later on the video. You can take a picture at the end. Rolling a sum of 5 and doubles. What's the probability that rolling a sum of 5s and doubles? What does and mean again? Multiply or overlap? For the tables, it's always overlap, not multiplying. All right. I'm going to look for the sum being 5. Do you guys agree this right here is the sum being 5? Doubles. What are my doubles?
5.
The 2 2, the 1 1, the 2 2, 3 3, 4 4, 5 5, and 6 6. Do you agree this diagonal across this way are the doubles?
Why are they equal?
Because it's a rolling a 1 with the 1, a 2 with the 2, a 3 with the 3, a 4 with the 4. All right. Do they overlap?
Yes.
Is it possible to roll 2 doubles and the sum being 5? No. You can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. None of them overlapped with the 5. So what's the answer here? 0. Probability rolling a sum of 4 and doubles? Is that possible? I'm going to leave the doubles circled because I'm still working with doubles, but which ones am I going to circle now? The sum being what? 4. Do those overlap? In how many places? 1. So 1 out of 36. Now, why is it still 1 out of 36? Your denominator only becomes smaller when it's a given problem. Was this a given problem? No. It's just overlap. How many times does it overlap with the sum being 4 and doubles? These are my doubles. These are my 4s, and it overlaps right there 1 time. The 2, 2. Do you agree? All right, number...
Out of 36.
It only overlapped once. 1 out of the total 36. Okay. Number 3.
Are we taking the test right away? Or are we gonna review?
I don't know. I don't think we really need to review. We've been reviewing like for 4 days now. Probability of rolling a sum of
If we do like 10 minutes at least a review. It's like I keep forgetting how to do given problems.
what was that?
I don't really know how to do given problems.
So review those. Okay. Probability of rolling a sum of 4 or doubles. How did this one change from number 2? Is that different from and?
Yes.
And was the overlap. What do we do with the ors? Add and then subtract the overlap. So probability of rolling the sum being a 4 plus the probability they are doubles minus the overlap. If it exists, because sometimes overlap does not exist. All right, so I'm going to leave my circle marks. How many sums of 4 do I have?
4.
3 out of? Plus, how many doubles do I have? 6 out of 36. Take away, how many overlaps do I have? 1 out of 36. What's 3 plus 6?
Down a little.
9.
Thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. 9 minus 1. And you can reduce top and bottom dividing by 2 or something bigger.
4.
4. Does 4 go into both of them?
Yeah.
What's 8 divided by 4? And what's 36 divided by 4? No one knows? 9.
9.
All right, thank you. Any questions on number 3? Okay, are you ready for that given one? Because I think that's where most kids struggle. All right, the probability the dice shows a 3 given the sum is 7. All right, what's the key word here that tells us we're dealing with the smaller denominator? What's the key word there that tells us we're no longer dealing with the 36? The word what? Given. That's also, sometimes it's written as the vertical bar, sometimes it's actually written as given. All right, which piece do I look at for my denominator? The first piece or the second piece?
First.
This is my denominator? This is always my denominator, the one that comes after the given. All right, what's the word there? The sum is what?
Wait, doesn't the line 2 mean given?
Yes. So they would put a line here like this. That means this, and it's still to the right of the line or to the right of the word given.
6.
So how many 7s do I have?
6.
Of those 6 7s, I'm no longer dealing with the total 36. Of these 6 numbers right here, how many of them show a 3? Does this one show a 3, the 6 with the 1?
No.
Does this one, the 5 2?
No.
The 4 3?
Yes.
The 3 4?
Yes.
The 2 5?
No, no, no.
And the 1 6. So how many were there?
2.
Out of 6, which reduces to 1 out of 3.
Wait. That shows.
questions? Why is what? Can anybody answer that? Why is it out of 6?
6 sevens.
Because there's what?
6, 7.
Because there's 6 sevens. It said given the sum is 7, so this is our new population, our new chart. Everything else is gone. We only are dealing with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of these 6 numbers, how many of them had a 3? This one did, the 4 with the 3. And this one did the 3 with the 4. Everything else did not have a 3. All right, questions? All right, I'm going to move on from this now, and I'm 15. Again, you want me to do it again? Yes. All right, so that's like the one that we just did. What's after the word given for number 15? How many 9s do I have? Of those 4, how many of them have a 4 on it? 6 and 3 does not. 5 and 4 does. 4 and 5 does. 3 and 6 does not. So how many?
2.
Which is 1 out of 2. Make more sense?
Yeah. Can you do it one more time?
No. Okay. You guys do need to know your formulas here. Mutually exclusive. What's the probability of A and B happening together? 0. When they are independent, is P of A and B also 0, or is that where you multiply? You multiply P of A times P of B. Please stop the talking. So what do I put here? What do I put here? Q, probability of Q and R. 0. Thank you. The one person that knew the answer. The rest of you guys need to focus. Thank you. Q or R. What's the formula? Probability of Q plus. Do I have to worry about subtracting the overlap? Because there is no overlap. Please stop the talking. Because it's mutually exclusive, there's no overlap. All right. Just a reminder. When you do these problems, I'm assuming most of you will be plugging numbers in your calculator. If you just plug in and give me a list of answers and show nothing here, am I going to give you credit? I don't care how easy it is. I can plug in numbers. I can plug that plus that in my calculator, no problem. But do you have to actually write it on your paper? Yes. And then you can finish that sum up on your own. Not, we did say it, and some of you guys were not listening. Someone say it one more time. Why is this 0? There's no overlap because it is mutually exclusive. We wrote it right here.
What does and mean?
And means the overlap. But in this, or it means to multiply, is what it's telling us here. It means to multiply. But is there overlap with mutually exclusive events? No.
There's not an independent.
There is an independent. We multiply. That's how we find it. Unless it's a chart. If it's a chart or a graph or the whatever they're called, tables, we look for the overlap. We actually look for the overlap like we did up here. All right, not Q or R, we do 1 minus the probability of what? No one knows? Am I talking to myself?
Probability of
Q or R. And you would have typically done that already. Did we already do that already? Right here. I didn't write down the answer because I want you doing it on your own. You subtract your answer from 17. I'm moving on.
6.
Any questions before I move on?
Wait, 17.
26.
Whatever you got over here.
Isn't it 0 plus 24?
It's 1 minus, what did you guys get here? 0.74?
Yeah.
All right. D and E, is it also 0?
No.
If this was a multiple choice test question, do you think they would have 0 as a distractor?
Yeah.
Do not like, oh, 0. No, because it's not mutually exclusive. It's independent, which means it's probability of D times the probability of E. So 0.85 times 0.4 or 0.40, however you type it in, is up to you. You do that work on your own. D or E.
There's no subtract by 1 or anything?
That's on the not piece. Yes. What's your question?
Why is 16 0, 19 not 0?
Why is what?
Why? I was like, because it's mutually exclusive.
Yes. All right. Shh. Guys. Okay. D or E. 0. Okay. What's the formula? Probability of D times or plus? Plus. Probability of E as is or subtract?
Subtract.
Probability of D and E. All right, what's the probability of D? 0.85 plus, not times, 0.40. Take away whatever you got when you multiplied here on number 19.
You're not just adding this to.
What's your question?
How come are you subtracting and not just adding the D and E?
The formula is probability of D plus probability of E minus the product of D and E.
So
That's
only when it's independent?
yes. You can think of it as what we did up here. When we did this chart, you do probability of A plus the probability of B minus the overlap. It's the same concept. This is considered like the overlap. Okay, not D or E, you do 1 minus probability of D or E. I didn't do it for you, but when did you do this piece here? What number did this come up on? So you would take your answer from number 20, D or E, and subtract it from 1. Questions? All right, I'm going to flip this page. Everyone has it down. I'm going to talk about these. I'm not going to do them all with you because we've done a lot of these. What does the word and mean? Overlap. If you'd like me to write that down, P of A and B is the overlap when you're dealing with a table like this. The probability of A or B, what do we do? P of A plus P of B minus the overlap if it exists. Okay, overlap you can do on your own. Grade 9th grade or science, how many 9th graders do we have? 300 out of 1,000. Plus, how many science lovers do we have? 350 out of 1,000. Takeaway, is there an overlap? Let's see, these were the 9th graders. These were the science people, 130. You can do the math later and reduce. I like that math has the most. Just saying. All right, again, you can use your scientific calculators, but I do want to see this work. All right, 10th grade or 11th grade, how many 10th graders do I have? Out of, plus how many 11th graders do I have? Out of, subtract, is there an overlap? So I minus 0. The answer is not 0, but I'm subtracting 0, which means I'm just going to add. All right, again, don't forget to reduce. I'm not going to do 25 because 25 is similar to 23. You add and subtract. 9th and 11th, is this add and subtract or is this overlap for and?
It's 0.
Okay, but because and is overlap, yes or no?
It's overlap.
Do 9th graders and 10th graders or 11th graders overlap?
Can I get my phone?
No.
Yeah. Put it on my laptop, please. They don't overlap, so what's the answer? 0. All right, you can do 27 on your own. Would you guys like me to do these given ones? Thank you. All right, Jaden, this is the one you were asking about, the given problems. Math, given, they're in 11th grade. Listening, please. What do I look at for my denominator, math or 11th graders? How many 11th graders do I have?
Return this in today.
Of the 375, how many of them like math? Please stop. 180 you reduce later on your own. Guys, remember I'm not collecting this. Why? Because I want you to use it to study. All right, how many English people do I have? That's it. You reduce it. I'm not doing that with you. All right, how many English people do we have? Out of the 250, how many of them are 10th graders? And then you reduce on your own. All right, guys, we're not done, so please do not start packing up. 30, not 11th graders, given they do not like science. This is where kids struggle. Which part do I cover?
Not.
The science people. This is my new population. I'm no longer looking at the whole chart. How many people do I have altogether? 650, right? Because I have 250 for English and 400 for math.
Oh, I thought it said science.
Not science is what it said.
Oh.
So I took out the science. Of these not science people, how many are 11th graders? Or not 11th graders? Choices. Subtract the 11th graders or add up the 10th and 9th graders. Your choice. You either take away the 11th graders from the total, or you add those four numbers together. Anyway, it's 420, and then you reduce. Is this clear? Guys, we have time for this next one, and it's in words, and you do need to know how to take it out of words and make it look like this. What is the probability the student likes science given that they are a 10th grader? Does that make sense? So we look at our 10th graders. How many 10th graders do we have? Of those 325, how many of them like science? Science, 75, and then you reduce. Make sense? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. I didn't do the Venn diagram. If you'd like, I can at least show it to you, and you can take a look at what it should look like. And I'll put this back up if anybody wanted a picture of this, because I forgot to ask earlier. So if you want pictures, it's up to you. You do not need to, but these are the extra reviews. The bottom I didn't have time for. The top I did with you earlier.